What's up, everybody? It's your boy DJ Arg! Exclamation point. Give me that booty, Arg! Exclamation point. Well, that was fucking stupid. Welcome to episode 184 of the Real Me and a movie podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Chase Lee. On this week's episode, I will take a look at the world of movie news and movie trailers that have happened throughout the week and have my reviews of the rock hard comedy, you see what I did there, Baywatch, and the fifth of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. What am I going to think about the news, the trailers, and the film Baywatch and Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black, Dead Man's at the World's End, Stranger Tides, Dead Man Tell No Tales film? Well, you're just going to have to sit down, relax, and find out. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Real Me and a movie podcast, where you didn't really ask for it, but hey, I'm going to give it to you anyways. I'm one of your co-hosts, Chase Lee, and hey guys, listen, if you're searching on the internet for something really random, and you're not really into podcasts that much, and you accidentally came across this podcast, and you're not a movie fan, well, hopefully I and my co-host can convince you to be one. But speaking of the co-host, he is not here this week. Good old Joel. He is probably somewhere knee-deep in his fifth movie of the day, reviewing some weirdo screener from some random production company, because Joel watches way more movies than I do. But anyways, guys, if you're new to the show, welcome. What Joel and I typically do is we go over some movie news, some movie trailers, and we will have reviews of movies that come out on Friday of that week. And then, of course, box office results for the weekend. This is episode 184, guys. And on today's docket, we have a shit ton of movie news, some trailers to talk about, and I will have my reviews since I'm going solo dolo on Baywatch with the good old Rock Johnson and Zach Fake Abs Efron. Seriously, you could fucking use it as a cutting board. So anyways, that is on today's docket, guys. I'm by myself. Joel has to work, and sometimes that's going to happen. Sometimes it might be just Joel. Sometimes it might just be me, and you're probably thinking to yourself, God damn it, why is it just Chase? Like, get him the fuck out of here. We want Joel. We want the smart one. Well, that's okay, guys, because now you got the village idiot for the week. You done fucked up, and this is what you land yourself into. But first of all, are you guys doing pretty good? You guys having a pretty good week? It's been very just jam-packed, in my life, if you guys are wanting to know. I don't think you guys give a fuck, but, I saw my girlfriend last weekend. That's why Joel took over. Had a great little vacation, and I came back and had a lot of stuff to do, and, I just got back from another little mini vacation with one of my friends and got to visit some high school buddies and whatnot, so it's been pretty fun indeed. But I hope you guys are having a good day or good night or whenever the hell you're listening to this, even if you're just taking a good old, hour and a half dump. I got you covered, fam. You got your content. Here's your movie content. But anyways, this is episode 184, like I said. So without any further ado, let's begin, because there's just so much to talk about. All right, first piece of news. This was kind of a big one. This was kind of a shocker when I first heard about it. I had to do a double take head turn, like one of those like really dramatic ones you see in movies. Like you hear something, you're not paying attention, you hear it again, you just kind of turn your head and you're like, huh, that's interesting. So what is this interesting head turning double take piece of news? Well, good old Thomas Hardy has been tapped to play Venom in the Venom movie, and it's actually also going to be directed by Ruben Fleischer, I believe is how you pronounce his name, and he's the director of Zombieland and Gangster Squad. There you go. But Zombieland's good, so you do have that. Both of these pieces of news dropped at the same time. It's like all in one story, and Sony was like, fuck it, we're going to just mess up everyone's day and throw them two pieces of news at once. And as much as I like Ruben Fleischer's direction on Zombieland, how it was kind of like this fresh, upbeat horror comedy, it's a nice pick, but the real story is Tom Hardy as Venom, and you think to yourself, wait a minute, Tom Hardy seems like the type of dude that probably receives a bunch of scripts daily to his agent. He's probably got to be selective. So what made it about the Venom script stand out and for him to go, I want to be in a comic book movie again? So this is the more fascinating piece of news. Sorry, Ruben Fleischer, you did make Gangster Squad, so that's why people are not excited. But but he did do Zombieland, so I'll give him that. But Tom Hardy playing Venom. It's going to be strange, and quite frankly, I'm more curious about this project now than I ever have been. Because when I first announced this a few weeks ago, saying that Sony was going to do a Venom movie, I was a little apprehensive because they said they want to make it rated R, and it's not going to be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and so it's going to be like this Elseworld type of story, and I'm fine with that, but, since they have this merger with Marvel now, it just seems so fucking weird and, misplaced and whatnot, so I kind of shoved it off to the side. But Tom Hardy gets my loins in a rustle, so, it's one of those things where I'm more curious about this project now just because he is in it than I ever have if they were to just announce it just plain Jane. So him being in the role, I think he can do it. He is a capable actor who is very good at what he does. If you want to see Tom Hardy actually do something and carry a movie, you watch something like a Bronson, or you watch something like Locke, where he's literally in a car for 90 minutes, and you get to see his character kind of go throughout this journey within a car ride. And, if you aren't a good actor, you cannot sell that premise. It will become boring, it will become stale, and you won't be invested. But since he's so good at what he does, you became invested in this guy who's just driving his car, to probably go to an IHOP or something. I forgot the where he was going. But I do remember watching him for the first time, just kind of blown away by the performance, and that's just how good he is. So, yeah, very interesting piece of news. I'm curious now. But yes, this will be the second time he has played a comic book character. He previously played Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, and if that movie has taught us anything, he's pretty good in that movie. He's threatening, he's powerful. I know a lot of people make fun of the muzzle voice, but I enjoy it. He was almost going to be Captain Boomerang in Suicide Squad, but scheduling conflicts, so he had to go do something else. And good old Jai Courtney had to step in, so what a downgrade. But hey, listen, Jai Courtney's, got a couple smaller movies that look good, but still a downgrade. So yeah, that's the first piece of news. It's just more interesting all around, and I'm now curious about the Venom movie, but I think he is capable of playing that character. Another piece of news that I don't give a fuck about. If you were into Mamma Mia, for whatever reason, if you were dragged to it by your wife or your girlfriend, and you had to sit there and listen to Pierce Brosnan sing and just realize that he wasn't in a 007 movie and you were just confused about life, if you sat through that movie and you get up from the theater and you're like, okay, that I'm done with that movie, I don't have to ever watch it again. Well, good news, folks. There's going to be a sequel. I don't care. This is for more of the people that are into Mamma Mia in that movie, and I guess want a sequel. So I got you guys covered. Yeah, I could really care less. I'm not really into musicals to begin with. You guys know this, but when there's a good one that comes out, like a Sweeney Todd or like a La La Land, like I like them. I'm not like, oh my god, this is like fucking amazing. I mean, well, Sweeney Todd's pretty fucking amazing. I like that one quite a bit, but usually musicals don't really do it for me. And I like the Muppets, for instance. Like that's a good one. It's like a family film and stuff. I don't know. It just depends on who's behind it, director wise, and who's in it, and the type of songs that they're doing. But I really don't give a fuck about ABBA and their songs. So I never saw the first Mamma Mia. It looks terrible. So, but yeah, this is for all the Mamma Mia fans out there that just want to see Pierce Brosnan pull a Russell Crowe and Les Mis once again. The next piece of news is a little sad piece of news. Zack Snyder, the director of modern DC films like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and he's going to be directing the upcoming Justice League coming out in November of this year. A sad piece of news has struck to where he had a family emergency and take time away from his job to go attend to be on this path of healing. I'm not going to go into it, but his daughter committed suicide back in March, and he kind of trucked through and really wanted to keep working on the movie and kind of keep his mind off of it. Looks like he wants to go take some time away from work, which I think is a very good thing, and he's stepping away from the project. So the person that's going to take the reins, if you will, from Justice League, to see its like finale and its finish, with sound design and music and whatnot, and make sure it's edited as precisely as possible, is Joss Whedon, who is the director of the first Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron, and he will also be writing and directing the Batgirl movie for Warner Brothers and DC. So, he steps in, he's going to finish it while Zach takes time for, his family and whatnot. If Joel was here, I'm sure he'd say the same thing, so I'll speak for the both of us. Thoughts go out to these Snyder family and whatnot. I know that's really tragic to lose a child like that. Like, no parent should ever outlive their child, and it's just a really heartbreaking thing. So Joel and I, our thoughts go out to the Snyder family. And Zach, just heal, take all the time you need, buddy, and come back strong and do what you do best. Because I'm not just saying this because of what happened, but I actually am a Zack Snyder fan. I actually like most of his movies. And I think that's the most important thing out of this story. Is even if you hate his movies, don't be a dick. Don't be an asshole. Be a human being, and realize that this is a man who just lost his daughter, and this is not about a movie. It's not about fantasy. This is real life, and you should set your hatred aside for this man's movies and realize that this man's going through something very tragic and very devastating that no one should ever go through. So, just show the love, please, and go to his Twitter page and hit him up and just tell him that you're thinking of him and whatnot, and just do something nice, please. Like, out of all the darkness and humanity in this world nowadays, like it's just nice to see people come together. And there's gonna be some dick bags, of course, but to see people come together and really just kind of show the love and support for someone who is going through a tough time. And it's not just about the movies; it's about just being a good human being. So, Zach, get well, sir, and you entrusted Joss to do and finish this movie. So, you know what? I trust him as well, and I like what Joss did on the Avengers films, and I like Avengers Age of Ultron, so he's coming off of a high for me. So I'm actually excited to see kind of see what he does with it, and see just how he finishes it. And if Zach trusts you, or trust Joss or whatever, then I trust him as well. So sorry that has happened to the Snyder family. Thoughts go with you. The next piece of news. Universal, good old Universal, that awesome logo, the world logo. Do you guys remember when the Flintstones came out and they had Universal as the pun logo for the Universal logo? It was cute. It was fucking adorable. All right, so Universal, they have all of the rights to these classic monsters such as Frankenstein, Werewolf Man, Swamp Thing, Bride of Frankenstein, Invisible Man, you name it. They have their catalog, Dracula. So they've been wanting to kind of kick off this like monster shared universe for a very, very long time. Now, they came out with Dracula Untold a few years ago. I didn't see it. I didn't care for it. It just didn't intrigue me, but I heard it was terrible. So they're kind of rebooting this, and they're starting out with The Mummy coming out. Actually, from this recording, I think like in a week and a half. So The Mummy starring Tom Cruise. Really kind of kick off this like shared monster universe. Well, it has come out this week that they're naming this universe the Dark Universe, and it's kicking off with The Mummy. And they also said that Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and Invisible Man are included in that catalog. And Bride of Frankenstein will also be directed by Bill Condon, who did the Beauty and the Beast live action adaptation in March, which I didn't care for at all. But he's not like a horrible director by any means. It's just more of the source material and what they decided to do with it. He's a competent director, let's just say that. So, him directing that, it's not really a thing for me. But, the shared universe is the real story here. And while I admire Universal's confidence and creating this dark universe to where they're basically laying out their hairy, sweaty, moldy testicles on this table going, you know what? We have the ability to have our own shared universe, and we're going to have all these movies happen. I like that. It's one of those things to where studios are, they're very hesitant and gun-shy, why not? And so they kind of hold back, and they don't really do anything beyond first movies until, they hear something good and then they're reactionary. However, let's see how The Mummy does first. Now, if The Mummy flops, I don't think it will, but if it flops, I don't think this universe is going to happen. They might do another one to try again, and if that also fails, they will quit it. Now, if it's praised and it's beloved and makes a shit ton of money, of course Universal's excited that they dropped this news, but it is a gamble because we don't know how The Mummy's going to turn out. We don't know if it's going to be good or not. We don't know if it's going to be more of a serious take. They're going to go more, horror action with it, or it's going to be like the Brendan Fraser films where it's like super corny and cheesy. So we don't know yet. So let's just see how The Mummy does first, Universal, and then we'll go from there. Okay, you're blowing your load. Like you had your blue balls just stacked up in there. You hadn't gotten your handy yet in like 2 weeks, and you got those blue balls sitting there, and then you just blow it all over the internet. And you're like, oh god, there's gonna be like 10 movies in this universe, and you're like, whoa, fam, let's see how The Mummy does first. So, I guess on a personal note, I'm excited. Like, it's intriguing to see them kind of take a crack at it and really tackle these characters and whatnot, make it a shared universe, kind of like Avengers and whatnot, and have like this coalition of all these monsters and stuff. And that is the one thing that kind of intrigues me, is like, what are they going to fight? Like, they're going to get all these people together, which I'm assuming Russell Crowe's character, Jekyll and Hyde, he's going to bring them together, but what are they going to fucking face? Like, I have no clue, but I'm curious about it, but just one movie at a time. I walk out of The Mummy going, wow, that was really good, I can't wait to see more, then I'm on board for this. If I walk out of The Mummy going, wow, that was terrible, Universal, take back your load and shove it back in your dick, because this ain't working. So, yeah, that's that piece of news. We'll just see how it goes when we get to that point. All right, next piece of news. Well, this didn't take long. This didn't take long at all. This is, Sony just getting so happy just to do it all over again. It's just so fucking fast. It was January 27th of this year. I believe that was the day. If I'm right, then that's fucking amazing, because that was 5 months ago. But end of January, Resident Evil: The Final Chapter comes out. I disliked it. You guys know this. I fucking bashed it. I hated it. It was just poor filmmaking. It was just a terrible fucking movie. So I was like, okay, it's the final chapter. Paul W.S. Anderson's going to go away for a while, go off to some island with Milo Jovovich, and they'll probably not come out for a while. And I was like, okay, that's it for these movies. It's great, after all these years, they're finally done. They'll probably, come back after 5 to 10 years. Sony is like, we'll go relax for a little bit. We'll come back and we'll take another crack at it. Fuck that shit. All right, so they're going to be rebooting the Resident Evil movies, and it's going to be produced by James Wan. Well, that was quick. Hell, let's break up with your girlfriend and then get with someone 5 months later after you've been with that previous girlfriend for like 17 years. That's real nice of you. So, all right. So, for the reboot part, I really don't care. I knew they were going to reboot it eventually, but this soon doesn't make sense to me, because I think the final chapter kind of flopped. So that kind of shows you the diminishing interest that people have for this franchise. We just don't care anymore. The fascinating part is James Wan. Now, you guys know my love for James Wan. I love what he does with horror films nowadays. They feel so classic and so retro, and they're always terrifying, so new and fresh with these jump scares. They are actually warranted in the movie, and like I get fucking terrified in some of the movies that he does and some of the sequences that he constructs within his movies. He's such a masterful genius at horror and setting up shot composition and editing techniques and sound design. He's so good at what he does. The fact that he's producing these, I don't think he would just produce them just for the sake of producing them, because his name will be on these. Like, he knows this. So I think he probably is going to go more towards a horror route with it. And if he can apply these kind of like modern, kind of retro kind of styles that he does for his movies and applies it to Resident Evil, it could generally come out as a good horror film that could scare the shit out of you. So I really don't care about the reboot news. I care more about James Wan's involvement. So I I'm actually excited for it now because I'm such a huge fan of what James does and how he has kind of blossomed into this, director that has his own style and you can't touch it, you can't replicate it. Even in the first Saw movie when he directed that, you saw like little hints of it, and you're like, okay, he's got a good style and stuff, and he just keeps getting better and better. So, James, fuck, I was totally against the reboot, but it's like, you know what? If you're gonna produce it and try to bring these things to light, I am all for it, brother. So you do your thing. The next piece of news is that I still can't believe this happened. So Twitter is a wonderful thing. Twitter is something that we go to look at cat memes, and we go there to bitch about movies on other people's timelines. It's a very safe and very healthy environment, if you ask me personally. But it could also be a very weird place where stuff will happen to where you'll sit back and go, I can't believe that just happened. So someone saw a picture of Lupita Nyong'o and Rihanna at, I believe it was the Cannes Film Festival, and they saw them together, and they're kind of laughing. They looked like they were having a good time or whatever. Someone snapped a picture and put it on Twitter. And then a lot of people started saying, like, oh, man, this looks like a buddy cop movie, and they started adding, like, a story and then, like, plot and kind of build upon the story and really kind of create this fake movie on Twitter. It's actually happened. And so Netflix is actually going to produce this thing and really kind of take the idea and run with it. So there's going to be a Rihanna Lupita Nyong'o buddy movie that's directed by none other than the Selma director and 13th director, Ava DuVernay. Okay, well, this is really weird, but hey, listen, if they can make it work, they can make it work. Lupita Nyong'o, Oscar-winning actress. Really great role in 12 Years a Slave. Ava DuVernay. I've liked everything she's directed. There's something wrong with this equation. I've seen worse actresses. I'm not saying Rihanna's the worst, but I've seen worse. I don't know how she's going to do. I honestly can't answer that for you because everything I've seen her in, clips-wise, movies-wise, she's not good. Like, my favorite role she's ever done is, I think, when she punched Michael Cera in This Is the End. Like, that was convincing. I like that. It was funny. But that was a bit. That wasn't like it wasn't even a scene. It was just a bit. And, and I don't really care for her voice performance in Home. It's just, she's just one of these, like, singer turned actresses to where, like, she's trying so hard, but it's just not working. And so, but who knows? If you're under the direction of Ava DuVernay and you can go back and forth with Lupita Nyong'o, it could turn out something special, and it could actually be her best role to date. So it's a coin toss for me. I really don't want her in there, but if they're going to do this, and Netflix does have the money to throw around so they can do whatever the fuck they want, if they want to try this and kind of take a swing at the bat with this, I'm all for it. And, 2/3 of the talent's really good, so why not? So, yeah, I'd be willing to check it out if they go through with this and Netflix, does it and whatnot. Okay. Next piece of news is that the Spider-Man Homecoming poster was released. Oh my goodness. Marvel. Listen, they are so good. They turn out these posters. They churn them out. They work so hard on them, and people get so excited. They're just like, "Oh wow, this poster is really great. It captures the essence of the movie." With someone standing there looking off to the side, they look so threatening. They look so intimidating. And then you get stuff like Spider-Man: Homecoming. Now, I'm not saying Marvel's posters are anything like, spectacular, because they're not. They're very basic. It's usually just people like standing there looking off to the side, or like a group shot or whatever. It's really not that intriguing. But when it's really bad Photoshop work, that's when I kind of notice a little bit. The Spider-Man Homecoming poster is really fucking bad. I don't know who they hired for this, but they need to get their money back, and it quite possibly could be illegal because they probably hired a 12-year-old to do it. It looks terrible. The colors are so bright and so corny. All the placements on the heads are really bad. It's really bad marketing and stuff. And I stayed away from the TV spots, so I'm not going to review those for you guys. I'm just talking about the poster. It's just, I want you to look it up when you're done listening to this episode. Thank you for your support, by the way. But when you're done listening to this episode and you go and look it up, it just looks so bad. And I can't believe they're using this to market it. And I realize that Sony's got final say in everything because it's still their property and Marvel's just helping. But, oh, good God. They got... listen, as much as I love comic book and superhero movies, their posters are getting very lazy. And they've been lazy, but they're just getting even lazier to where like it's very apparent now. So please switch it up and create better posters for this genre, because when stuff comes out like this, it just makes it look bad. So not really a big piece of news, but I just wanted to bring it up. So hey, Sony, if you're listening, stop. All right, stop with your posters. Next piece of news: Charlie's Angels. Speaking of Sony, Sony likes to make the rounds nowadays. Charlie's Angels is going to be rebooted, and in 2019 it will come out, and it will be directed by Elizabeth Banks. I myself don't really care about a Charlie's Angels reboot. I mean, the first two with Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, and Drew Barrymore, they're whatever. It's like it's throwaway popcorn movie things. It's just like you sit there, you let it play in the background, then you just go to sleep. So them doing a reboot, I don't really care about, but directed by Elizabeth Banks is where it kind of fascinates me a little bit. I like her as an actress. I did not see Pitch Perfect 2, so I have not seen her directorial debut, but a lot of people are mixed on it, and a lot of people say it is because of the bad direction. So, I don't know, maybe just the more she does, the better she'll get at it, and whatnot, because it looks like from Pitch Perfect 2, from the trailers and stuff, it was a competent movie. It just might have been a little sloppy. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Maybe she can kind of bring a fresh take to it, and bringing these TV shows into the kind of zeitgeist again, and with their own movies like 21 and 22 Jump Street, Chips, and Baywatch, which we will get to. It seems like this is the trend they're going to. So it was just only a matter of time before they reboot it. I believe the first one came out in the year 2000. 17 years, folks. 17 years. Do you feel old yet? I was 10. It came out when I was 10. And I probably got my first boner while watching it. Shit. You guys remember that shit? Like, they were always in skin tight suits. I think Drew Barrymore was like very like sexually like placed innuendo-y with like nudity and whatnot. It was one of those like sexual awakening films. So, if you're a teenager, I guess, and just watch that movie. You might discover some things. But yeah, I'm curious about it. But I think when we get to Baywatch, I can tell you that I'm a little sick and tired of TV shows going into comedies. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Next piece of news is that wow. I'm just really sad that Joel is not here. Joelith the Third is not here to experience this. Now, back in March, I invited Joel to a movie. Now, it was a nice brisk day, I called Joel up and I'm like, Joel, you want to go see this movie? And he's like, I got stuff to do, but I think I can squeeze you in. So he comes with me. We watch it, and I say to him, after the movie, I was like, Joel, Studio Ghibli and Pixar and How to Train Your Dragon from DreamWorks, these are good studios and a good movie from a studio. I mean, nothing can compare to the greatness of what we just saw. And he's like, yeah, I know. I can't believe it either. And I was like, yeah, I can't believe Alec Baldwin as a talking boss baby was one of my favorite movies of all time. And he's like, yeah, man. And then I think afterwards we cried. No, we saw The Boss Baby. It was terrible. We did not like it whatsoever. The news is, you guys were probably thinking to yourselves, like, why the fuck did you ramp that up? All right, so the news is that the Boss Baby 2 is coming out in 2021. Okay, even though that Joel and I hate this movie and we kind of dislike it, I'm still kind of shocked that it's going to take them 5 years to pump out the sequel. Who's going to fucking remember this news within a month? Like, they're going to have to, like, do marketing, like, in 2020. It's so far from now. Just announce the sequel later. Do the movie quicker. Just, even for me that hates when Hollywood pumps out sequels really fast, it's so weird that this actually made money for DreamWorks, and they're so hesitant on doing a sequel until 5 years from now. What if Alec Baldwin croaks? What if he just eats like a croissant? Like, in his car or something. He has a heart attack. We don't know what's going to happen to him. So, yeah, it's very odd that they're announcing a sequel this far out. I really don't give a shit. I can't believe it. When you think about all the movies that have come out this year, that's one of the top grossing ones. Is Boss Baby. Let that sink in. Fuck me. All right. So the next piece of news, Conrad Vernon, who's best known for co-creating that wonderful food orgy in Sausage Party. He is the co-creator of Sausage Party, and he's going to be directing a Jetsons animated movie for Warner Brothers Animation. I'm excited, I guess. Like, I don't like the live action movie like the Flintstones and stuff, but like, I did watch some of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons like the Jetsons and Flintstones and stuff, and my brother's obsessed with Scooby-Doo, so that was always playing throughout our household. So doing a Jetsons movie, I'm down. Sure, why not? And who knows if it's successful? Maybe they can kind of reboot and do an animated Flintstones movie and have it in the same kind of Hanna-Barbera kind of universe. I know it's. I know I contradict myself and say sometimes I don't like when studios have to do like a universe, but I don't know. That'd be kind of cool to see these cartoons on screen. But however, this is a big fucking caveat. These movies are not popular now, and Scooby-Doo is on this like direct-to-DVD train to where they're doing like a bunch of WrestleMania mashups. Huh? I just. And of course, like I said, the last time Flintstones was on the big screen in theaters was, the live action ones, whether it be, the terrible first one, but with good actors like John Goodman and Rick Moranis, to the worst second one with Stephen fucking Baldwin as Barney. So I'm curious to see like what's going to happen with it. Are they going to do a little bit more, kind of adult oriented and have like, still have that kid friendly vibe, but have it, with a little bit more of adult humor. I don't know how they're going to do it, but if Warner Brothers Animation's doing it, I saw like 40 minutes of storks on a plane a few months ago. I thought the animation looked good. They definitely have a good kind of animated tone. They also, did the Lego movie one on. Those are really well done animation-wise. Okay, so I'll give them that. Everything else beyond the Lego franchise, no bueno. But just watching the Lego movies, I know that they have kind of that passion and creativity to make these movies good. So who knows? The Jetsons might be good. And I think the co-director of Sausage Party, going from, because he originally did kid stuff, then he went to Sausage Party, and it's like he's going back to kid stuff. Sure, why not? Maybe since he's worked on an R-rated movie, like I said, maybe he can kind of bring that kind of adult sensibility and still have it, kid-friendly oriented, make it a PG film, but, make it a little bit edgier. Why the fuck not? Take a risk, Warner Bros. You got the money to do it. So, interesting news, but I'm excited. Second to last piece of news is that good old Ice Cube. Good old Ice Cube. I love that guy. He's so fucking funny. Every time when someone brings up Ice Cube, they're like, dude, he was so good in the NWA group, which I do like NWA quite a bit, but I always think of when he plays the lieutenant or sergeant in 21, 22 Jump Street. He's so fucking funny. And then 22 Jump Street, he's even funnier than the first one. So he's really good at doing comedy now. And, of course, he produced his, own biopic in 2015 with Dr. Dre, Straight Outta Compton. So, I appreciate him as an entertainer and actor, but when he does, like, stupid PG-13 comedies like Ride Along and Ride Along 2, well, I just want to kind of blow my nuts off. So, with a shotgun. Not with my mouth. Don't be sick. So, the news is that Before I Disappear, which is like kind of this like tech crime thriller type of deal. It's going to be written by the Patriots Day writer. He's going to be the lead in it. I don't know. I mean, like I said, Ice Cube is an entertaining actor. And he's really good at comedy. And he's really good at producing stuff. When was the last time he did a good dramatic role? can't think of it. So it's interesting they're going with him, but I'm still going to sell this because I haven't seen enough of his like dramatic chops to even tell if he's even good or not for this. But the writer of Patriots Day does intrigue me a little bit. Because Patriots Day was awesome. That was a phenomenal movie. And it was really well handled. And I think Alec Berg really kind of treated that subject very gracefully. And not just like exploited it for, money reasons. But really just told a really genuine story about people rising up and protecting their own. So, Ice Cube in a kind of tech crime thriller. Woo! It's gonna be fun. So we'll see. Gotta see a trailer first, but to get the ball rolling on this project, to have the writer of Patriots Day does make me more interested in the project than previously before. So, sure. And the last piece of news, Pottersville, which is a movie that will be released on Netflix, and it stars Michael Shannon, and it's described as It's a Wonderful Life meets Bigfoot. So I think the plot is like Michael Shannon's kind of like, having a rough day, he's kind of drinking or whatever, and I think he gets into a Bigfoot suit, and he kind of goes out into the wilderness and kind of searches for Bigfoot or something like that. I forgot what the exact wording was, but it was something kind of like that. Yes, fuck titty bitch, yes. I don't even care if Michael Shannon is in like, I don't know, fucking Sonic commercial, restaurant or video game. I will watch it. The guy is a phenomenal actor. He's a chameleon. He sinks into these roles. He's in everything nowadays, whether it be a small role, big role. He's done big blockbusters, like a Man of Steel, or he can do like a smaller film like a Nocturnal Animals and fucking kill it and get an Oscar nomination. The guy is one of my favorite actors working today. Anything he does, I am on board. But this sounds awesome. It sounds like it could be a really, like I said, like a kind of an updated version of It's a Wonderful Life, and kind of have like these kind of heartfelt comedic moments, but also some really great emotional turmoil that this character is kind of facing and kind of, coming to the realization of. So, yeah, I'm all on board for this. There's nothing more to say. I'm fucking stoked for this. So, yes, please release this now, Netflix. Release it now. Netflix. Yeah. Is anyone listening out there? Oh, of course not. Sorry. That sounds like a pretty good piece of news to me. All right, so that is it for the news, guys. What do you guys think about the news stories? Comment in the place with my face and let me know. The trailer section is a little short. There's only 3 of them. That's why I kind of had a longer news section. I want to talk about basically everything that came out this week. So let's talk about some movie trailers. What did I see this week? First one, Wish Upon. This one stars Joey King, and she plays a teenager in high school who is getting fed up with bullying and stuff, and she comes across this like mysterious box, and she taps on it, it opens up, and Robin Williams reprises his role as the genie. That'd be really funny. Like, this is a serious trailer. They tap on a box, and you just see the genie like, "Hello, good morning, Vietnam." I'd be like, what am I watching? All right, so she gets this mysterious box, and she kind of wishes that her bully would get like mold on her or like rashes. I forgot what it was, but she eventually gets it. So she realizes that this box gives her wishes, and she kind of exploits it. She gets money and popularity, a dude that she wants to bang behind a high school football stadium, and so she gets all that. And then she starts to realize bad things start happening to like her family members and whatnot. So one of her friends is basically like, listen, you can make these wishes, but there's also some consequences. This is possessed by a demon, and it wants your soul. So you're kind of in debt to it because you asked for 3 wishes, kind of like that whole genie in a bottle type of scenario. The trailer, it was a very creative idea. I will give it that, because usually these like possession movies are typically the same. And yes, when you look at like, speaking of James Wan, when you go back and look at him, he makes possession movies, but he does it in such a fresh way. It feels like it's new, to where like most of these generic possession films all feel the same. They're all bland, boring. There's no creativity whatsoever put into them. So for this one, I liked it. I liked the trailer. Joey King. She was in The Conjuring, speaking of that. And she was good in it, and it's interesting to see kind of these young actors kind of grow and blossom into their career, and really kind of take a hold of it, and do all these different projects and whatnot. And she looks fine in it, but it's PG-13, so that is something that kind of worries me. They might cut away from violence or whatever, but some of the sequences of some of the deaths and stuff were pretty horrific, and I was like, damn, they're really kind of stretching this rating here. But I liked the trailer. I will go see it. I'm not going to pay full price. To be like more of a matinee for me. But if you're into horror movies, I think this trailer does the job pretty well. Might have shown a little too much, but just enough to where my curiosity is working, and I want to see it. I'm not like, oh my god, fucking excited, but it looks better than most of the horror movies that come out. So Wish Upon had a really great kind of creepy vibe to it. I enjoyed it quite a bit, so there you go. And the next trailer is Wonder. So this film stars Owen Wilson, Julia Roberts, and Jacob Tremblay, and is the story of a young little boy who's had kind of like a facial deformity all of his life, and he's getting like all these procedures to try to fix it. And so his dad, played by Owen Wilson, takes him to school and lets him kind of experience life as a child through kind of his face, which is different than all the other kids and whatnot. And of course, kids are going to bully him, and there's going to be some kids that stand up for him and be his friend and whatnot. And it just kind of teaches him that, yes, you are different, but that just gives you a chance to kind of stand out and be more unique, and really kind of just show these bullies and whatnot that you are a great person, and you're really smart, and you're fun to talk to and whatnot. And it looks like a really sweet, heartwarming type of movie. It looks like it's might get some Oscar nominations or some Oscars to look at and whatnot. Jacob Tremblay, you can't even recognize him because he's under so much makeup. He plays the kid with the deformity, but his voice is definitely there because I'm like, yeah, it's definitely the kid from The Room, but not The Room. But he looks like he's gonna be really great, and it looks like he's gonna have like that vulnerability you would want from a kid that age that's kind of going through this, like bullying and whatnot while he's got this deformity and whatnot. And then, some kids in the trailer are like, I just want some friends and whatnot. You seem pretty cool. Like, I don't give a crap what you look like. I just want to be your friend type of deal. And that's fucking awesome. It's, a great theme to kind of have for children that might watch this. It just looks like a sweet little, simple, heartwarming movie. Nothing really more to say. Julia Roberts and Owen Wilson. You guys take the interesting movie couple pairing of the month. That is very strange. I didn't think about that. So, I'll once again with Wish Upon. It looks like it's gonna, do its job in terms of being, a pretty basic little drama about this boy just trying to discover, life in school while he's, got this, condition and whatnot. So, we'll see. It's more of a matinee type of movie for me. I'll buy it. I like it. And the last trailer, which I will certainly pay full price for. Which I hope I get a screener because, dear, I've been looking forward to this since January, since it premiered at Sundance, is Wind River. This one stars Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch. It's actually an Avengers spinoff. No, Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen are in this movie. It's written and directed by Taylor Sheridan, who was the writer, get this, behind Sicario and Hell or High Water. So you already know that this is going to be great. It's going to be a nice little trilogy, nice little box set to get yourself. So this one tells the story of a detective, Elizabeth Olsen, who they're up in I think it's Alaska. It's basically where there's a lot of snow. It's really cold. So, humans don't really necessarily have big populations over there. So there's a murder, and she kind of, tries to find out who did it, and she gets the help of Jeremy Renner, and they try to solve it. It looks so good. I cannot wait for this. The tension was there, and it kind of just reminded me of what Taylor Sheridan does so well with Sicario and Hell or High Water in terms of how he structures his stories and makes the characters seem real and put these characters in these hellish situations and making it feel so grounded. I love the way he has written both of his previous movies, and they're always so intense. The way it is written is so tightly constructed. Nothing is wasted. No character moments are wasted. No lines are wasted. It is such a precise script and story. Makes me super excited. He's going to knock it out of the park, 3 for 3, hopefully. And it is his first directorial debut, so that's also really fascinating. What's the visual style going to be like? Did he learn stuff from Denis Villeneuve from Sicario, or did he learn from what's his name from Hell or High Water? This is going to kill me, but the director of that, and so he's been on set with some really great talented directors. Maybe he picked up a couple things, so it'll be interesting to see his visual style and just another great well-written, intense thriller from good old Taylor Sheridan. So this trailer, hell of a big buy for me, and definitely my favorite trailer of the week. I cannot fucking wait for this. So what was your favorite trailer? Please comment down below my face and let me know. Alright guys, getting into the main reviews. Now, the appetizers are out of the way. You guys came for a good meal, and, I gave you some little nuggets. And now you're just curious to see which Rotten Tomatoes score is correct. Because both these films I'm reviewing are rotten, currently on RT. Good old RT. So, I'm sure you guys are curious what I have to say about Baywatch and Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales. Let's start with the Pirates movie. I will say this. I was not looking forward to it. And after watching Stranger Tides, the fourth one from 2011, which was 6 years ago, by the way, I pretty much lost all hope for the franchise. I just didn't care anymore. They always feel so bloated. They're too long. And they really just kind of take a toll on your mental, health and you're just, your physical stamina. You just feel tired every single time you get done watching these movies. And, people generally like the first one, The Curse of the Black Pearl. I like it. Dead Man's Chest and At World's End, they're they're entertaining popcorn movies, but there was just something about On Stranger Tides that it was just all Jack Sparrow, and it didn't work, and you're like, please go away. So I was not looking forward to this one. And to be quite frank with you, I was really fucking worried for this movie after the first 10 minutes. Because I'm not going to tell you what happens. I will just tell you that one of the characters says the subtitle of the movie. How in the movie, there's Superman 4. Can you imagine if Superman looked away to the right of the screen and was like, oh my God, there's something happening over there. We must find the quest for peace. If he said the subtitle like that and the movie just started with the title and just, cut to a title screen, you'd be like, oh my God, this is what we're getting ourselves into. That's how this movie started. It started out like that and I was like, oh no. I turned to my friend and we all looked at each other like, this ain't gonna be good, fam. I think we got ourselves in this real sinking shithole. So I gotta say, it's fine. It's serviceable. It is another installment popcorn flick in this franchise. It's nothing more. So let's get real and break down Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. I don't know what that was. That was almost Smoker's Lung. So, the film is directed by a couple of Norwegian directors, I believe, and they directed this film Kon-Tiki, which was at the Oscars a few years ago, and that got them a lot of attention and whatnot, so they were then thrown onto this movie. Honestly, you can't really differentiate their style between this movie and Rob Marshall's direction and the fourth one, or Gore Verbinski's in the first three. It's just that they're all the same to me. They all have this kind of pirate adventure feeling, and it's just it's very clean and stuff because it is made from Disney. It's just their direction style isn't really anything important and whatnot, but what I give them props for is they gave us an actual story that we could follow. For the life of me, if I watch the first three or even the fourth one, there's so many fucking subplots running around that I don't even know what's going on. I can't follow anything because they're just kind of jumping all over the place. And this was a straight story. The story is that Will Turner's son needs to find the trident of Poseidon to break the curse of Will Turner being on the ghost ship or whatnot, and he gets the help of Jack Sparrow. That's it. They go find the trident. It's very, very sweet, short, simple, and then of course they run into colorful characters like Barbossa and Salazar. played by Javier Bardem. And so it's a straight shot story, which I really appreciate because, I was tired and exhausted. I was like, please just give me some entertainment. And, I was impressed that it was an easy story to follow. However, that is a downfall. There's a couple places towards the end of the movie to where they throw in like a couple subplots at you, or, like a couple of moments to either service the fans or just to throw in there for a scene literally 5 minutes later to make you to basically scream in your face and go, you should care about this character because of the revelation we just told you in the prior scene. It doesn't work that way, Disney. If you want us to actually care about a character and like, if they're going to save the world or, die or whatever, and, all that tension is there, you want to actually care about what's going on. So when you have like certain characters that reveal stuff at the end of the movie, and then the next scene you expect us to like care about what's happening, no. Like if you wanted to do that, which it was cheap, by the way, it was a cheap fucking trick, but they should have just did it earlier in the movie. It's just stuff like that irks me. But then there's awesome nuggets in the story, like the backstory of Salazar, played by Javier Bardem, my favorite fucking part about the movie. Even though it was a straight shot story and whatnot, I really honestly didn't care. But the Salazar backstory was amazing. I wanted to see that movie. Like that was absolutely wonderful, and I think the performance from Javier Bardem completely sells it. Like he is so good in this role. It's actually quite frightening. Like I don't want to see him in this makeup, like trolling around my bedroom, like telling me where to find Jack Sparrow. So he does a wonderful job. And speaking of Jack Sparrow, I know that Johnny Depp gets a lot of hate. He's a caricature at this point. It was fresh, new, and exciting when the first one came out, and he was nominated for an Oscar. But now it's becoming old hat, and you're like, stop. So it's whatever. The two new people, sure. the woman that they were kind of carrying along throughout the movie was, she was really good in the role. Geoffrey Rush as Barbossa, he's always so much fun to watch. I've always liked him in the franchise. But the acting is, to be honest with you, is very meh. It's very, okay, sure. And of course, they have a couple other characters that come back, one of which was completely unnecessary to the movie and the story, and was complete fan service, which kind of pissed me off, but whatever, I digress. And speaking of pointless little plot points or, characters coming back, there was some kind of plot threads that didn't make any sense, or like plot points or observations. I was like, how is that possible without this thing happening? And it's just a couple things like that was just kind of noticeable. But I think for a pure popcorn entertainment standpoint, it's not bad. It's just kind of like, okay, it's another installment, and maybe that's because the fourth one is so bad that it makes this one look great. I have no clue. I guess one of the last few things before I wrap this up is that, excuse me, the visual effects are really good. There's a couple shots where the green screen's very apparent, and you're like, it kind of takes you out for a little bit. But like, for instance, Salazar and like his crew of dead ship ghost mates, that was really well done. I don't know how the fuck they did some of that stuff, but it was really well handled, and you couldn't really tell that anything was rendered or, composited. Just, it looks so natural and looks so intimidating from the way he looked and stuff. I bought into it, so I love the visual effects in this movie. For the most part, like I said, a couple shots where I was like, no. But for the most part, it works. And, of course, the music is kind of very forgettable. They only use the Pirates theme over and over again because that's all you like. Yeah, there's really nothing more to say. I pretty much said my piece with it. I will say it's got one of my favorite sequences of Jack Sparrow stealing something. It's at the beginning of the movie. You guys know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. That was really fun to watch. I want to know how they did that. I want to see the behind-the-scenes section just on that, but the performances are very blah. Geoffrey Rush is really great. Javier Bardem is really great at Salazar. It's a straight shot story that you can follow and I guess have fun with the action sometimes, but even the action is just kind of lame. The music is very repetitive. The visual effects are good for the most part. Salazar's backstory was the most compelling thing. And I forgot about the pacing. This movie feels like the longest in the franchise, and it's the shortest. Like, factually, it's the shortest. Feeling, it feels like the longest, and that's really bad. And I think what it boils down to is this franchise just feels tiring at this point. It feels like a chore to sit through, and that's what I can boil down to on this film. I gave you some of the pros, I gave you some of the cons about this movie, but I think I'm tired with this franchise. It's so exhausting when you're watching these movies that I'm tired of seeing them. I'm going to give this movie a C. It's down the middle for me. It's an average little popcorn film. Don't go in this movie expecting much. Maybe that will higher your expectation or higher your, kind of results of walking out like, oh shit, like that was bad. So go in there with low expectations, you actually might like it. And the last thing I will say before I move on to good old Baywatch is that they have an end credit scene. Why? Fucking Disney has said that this is the last one they want to do. And they set it up with some weirdo scene, and it's like, ugh. Like, why? I don't want it. Stop it. Stop this shit. So, okay, they have an end credit scene, so if you were curious about it, it's at the very, very end. Sure, it leaves the door open for something. That's all I'll say. But, yeah, very, very blah. It's very, you lift up your shoulders when you get out there and you go, that's fine, I guess. So, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's also not the greatest thing I've seen. So it's whatever. So, a C for me for Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales, which is said in the very opening before they jump to the title sequence, and it will probably worry you when you hear it. So, yeah, what about you guys? What did you guys think of the Pirates film? Please comment in the place with my face and let me know. Guys, I reviewed Pirates for you, and you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, God, it's got to get better from here. I mean, Baywatch has to be the best thing you have seen this year. You haven't seen a comedy that has made you laugh harder than Baywatch. A cinematic masterpiece in the making is not this movie. Guys, I'm not doing bottom 10s of the year anymore, but I can tell you wholeheartedly, with absolute certainty, that Baywatch is one of the worst movies of the year so far. So let's get real and break down Baywatch. I did not like this movie. Now, going into the movie, I will say this. I will give it the benefit of the doubt. I love comedies. You guys know this. I'm willing to give any comedy a chance. So, before every single comedy, I get excited because I'm just like, what if this is the one to turn around? What if this is the one that, the marketing was so terrible, but it was just such a nice surprise. It kept all the best jokes in the movie, and maybe it was just edited poorly in the trailer. Nope. I've said this for months. Every single time a new Baywatch trailer dropped, I saw it, I reported it to you guys, and it's fucking terrible, and I didn't laugh once. So I was like, oh, God, is this going to be the movie, or are they, trolling us and it's going to be actually good? No, it was edited to what I thought it was going to be. Oh, good Lord. So let's get real and break this down. Directed by Seth Gordon, we follow the lifeguards at Baywatch, and they go throughout their daily routines of lathering themselves up with tanning oil and running until their cleavage is, just right there in front of our face while it looks like their boobs are about to, flop off their body because they're, running so hard. So, and then they get into, some drugs, I guess, and, they have to go find out and solve some crime as lifeguards. Yay. What 21 and 21 or 22 Jump Street did was make fun of themselves while also still being a good comedy. Like a good story within its own, while still making fun of itself. It was clever, it was smart. Yeah, it was a little crass and raunchy sometimes, but it did in such a way to where I didn't really care about it because I actually laughed at what they did. It might have been the way they delivered it in the performances. Might have been the way they wrote it. Either way, it made me laugh. And it was childish as hell sometimes. I have not seen Chips yet, but from what I've heard, Chips is lazy, and it's just what it boils down to. It's just not funny. So Baywatch, I was a little skeptical because I know it's worked in the past, but I've heard a lot of bad things from Chips. Everyone's saying Chips was bad and saying that Baywatch is basically like Chips. oh dear God, now I want to stay away from chips. Dwayne Johnson, the charmer extraordinaire, which I love to death. Love this man to death. I love most of the things he's in. I said most things. Sir, if you are listening to this show, which you're not going to ever meet me in my life, which is fine. I've come to terms with it. I'm taking therapy lessons. You cannot do raunchy comedies. You need to fucking stop and either go back to family films, PG-13 comedies, dramas, whatever. Hell, do a fucking teenage comedy for all I fucking care. But you need to stay the hell away from raunchy comedies because you cannot fucking produce one and make it look good whatsoever. So that's the first thing. Second thing, Zac Efron needs to fire his agent. I'm getting sick and tired of this man, who is very talented, by the way, gets suckered into these shitty-ass comedy movies because he was good Neighbors one time. It's just, guys, agents are fucking terrible. I'm really hoping that the Barn and Bailey movie that he's doing with Hugh Jackman at the end of the year and the Ted Bundy movie, I hope this turns his career around because these types of movies are sinking him so fucking fast. There's your first pun. The story itself is so generic and cheesy. It's like that generic cheesy R-rated movie. It's like, yeah, we're goofy characters. We're put in this weird situation with like drugs and violence and shit. I don't care. Because none of the characters were like fleshed out or anything. Zac Efron's character was the only character that had like a little bit of backstory, which I felt kind of sorry for. So he was actually trying the best he could. But I didn't care about the story. Like, at all. Like, it just, everything from like the joke setups to the plot development to the characters, it was just so bland and nothing else was added to it to make you go, you know what? It's not really funny, but like, you know, I care about, you know, the characters and what's going on and stuff. You can't even say that. And I will say this once, and I'll stop talking about it. I'll stop saying this phrase because I know it's going to get repetitive. This film is not funny whatsoever. It is dead in the water. There's your second pun. Every joke falls flat. Every joke tries too hard. They try to do that lowbrow, crass, like type of raunchy dick joke poop humor, which I don't mind. Team America has like a damn near 5-minute long vomit scene. And I laugh my ass off every single time. It's the way it is done. It is the way it is fucking done. And these filmmakers don't know how to do it. But every single joke felt forced. It's like they were trying to just say the raunchiest thing for the sake of saying the raunchiest thing and not actually giving a fuck about, you know, how they deliver the line. They're just, you know, hey, fuck titty cock bitch. That's funny, right? Like, no. It just so they try too hard. And director Seth Gordon, God bless this man's soul, because I actually like Horrible Bosses. I think it's a pretty great dark comedy. But this is the worst thing he's done. Whenever he tried to construct a sequence for a joke and the way it landed, or construct an action sequence, it was just so sloppy and so messy. And it's like they tried so hard to get all this footage and try to make something funny when they know they didn't have anything funny in the first place. So his direction is just so poor, it's all over the place, and it looks like no one actually gave a fuck. And if you want to move into the acting, because this, I don't really want to digress the story, because like I said, there's really nothing to it. Before moving to the acting, I forgot this. I'm just so frustrated now, guys. It's hard to, you know, talk in sentences, but that's okay. People might just listen to this and be like, oh, look at this stupid buffoon yelling on a movie. He doesn't know what good comedy is. I will say this. It's not a comedy. There's a lot of moments in this movie to where like they have a lot of dramatic elements with like Zac Efron's character that will go on for long stretches of time, like 30, 40 minutes. And then they'll come back and do like some weirdo dick in a morgue joke. And it's like, what? So tonally, it kind of clashes all over the place and doesn't have any kind of consistent through line. I don't mind if it's, you know, got some dramatic kind of heartfelt moments in a comedy. It's a dramedy. But when you market yourself as a straight up raunchy comedy and you throw this kind of serious kind of nature and tone about it, it doesn't work. It doesn't mesh well. It just you're switching it to try to develop these characters and make us care, and then you do a dig joke afterward, and you're like, well, that completely deflated. What are we, Tom Brady? There's your football reference, folks. No, it's just everything just felt so lazy. From the writing to the directing to the joke delivery to the story, it just doesn't look like anything was put into it that remotely resembled any type of care. So I'm done with that. Acting wise, for the material that they were given, I will say that Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron were not like flat out terrible. They were bad, but they had some charm about them that actually made me want to keep watching because I was yearning for a good joke. I wanted anything to be like, oh, that was really funny, but they kept trying so freaking hard. And Dwayne Johnson, he would say the F word and like, fuck, cock, titty bitch. Hey, how's it going? Like, it's just like, it doesn't work with him. I know Ballers is more of an R-rated thing on HBO, and I heard that's pretty decent, but like I said, it just kind of irks me. Like when he was in his interview with Jimmy Fallon, he was saying like, "Oh, we just wanted to make this, really raunchy and see if we can make it so filthy and dirty and raunchy." It's like, but you're not actually like really caring about the comedy. You're just wanting to say gross things for the sake of being gross. It's such an odd, bizarre of a mindset. So I will say that their chemistry is really good. I want to see more from Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron. But this movie is not it. I hope this movie dies, burns, and never sees the light of day again. All the side characters you don't give a fuck about. They're very bland and boring. John Bass plays that weirdo, funny, fat role, and it's just, sure. Alexander Daddario, sure. Kelly Rohrbach, who's a model, sure. And the other chick. And then, we got some of the other players like Rob Hubel. I think he plays like the sergeant of police or whatever. It's like he's in there, and like you got Oscar from The Office, and it's just like they're there. And even like those people are funny, but the material that they were given was so bad. They tried to make it work, and even their improv skills was just, it felt like their energy was deflated because they realized they were on set of Baywatch. So even their improv skills was not up to par. So yeah, all the acting is whatever, but I will give credit where credit's due. The chemistry between Efron and Johnson is there, and I want to see another movie with them in it, just not this one or a sequel. No. And of course, David Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson are in this, and they have front credit listing in the front of the movie. So you're like, oh, they got like some speaking roles and stuff. Oh my God. I will tell you that one of them just literally comes on screen and that's it. Doesn't say anything. Sure. Let's see. Oh, pacing. This movie's 2 hours long. No. Stop it, Paramount. This movie should have not been 2 hours. If you wanted to make this movie, it should have been hour and a half, hour 40 tops. Because that's another thing. If your movie is not funny, it's going to seem like you're watching this movie for 20 years. So then your pacing kind of falls apart. And when you don't care, your pacing even falls apart even more. So, oh God, just sitting in there, I was getting so bored because I was like, I just want something to be funny. I maybe smiled or smirked a couple times. That was it. So it felt like an eternity to sit through. It was a chore to sit through. I'm done. I'm fucking done talking about this movie. I'm going to give Baywatch a D-. The only reason I'm not going to give it a flat out F is because I know Dwayne Johnson means well, and I know he wanted to do something great and funny, but it didn't work. And his charm, it works in this movie, and his chemistry between Efron is actually good. It's just the movie around it is not good at all, and it's basically like the idea and the core of the movie is there, but what's surrounding it, like this weirdo, covering around it, is just filled with so much shit and dicks. It's just, fucking no. So I'm gonna give Baywatch a D-. It is definitely one of the least funny movies I've seen in quite some time. Definitely one of the worst movies of the year. And I will say this just as a PSA for all these studios. Just because 21 and 22 Jump Street work doesn't mean everything's going to work. Like I said, I haven't seen Chips, so I can't, back that up. But I hear it's pretty bad. And then I can definitely stand up and speak out against Baywatch, because if that's the route they think is working, that's so embarrassing. It was embarrassing to watch this movie. I was like, just because you can take a show and create into an R-rated comedy doesn't mean it's going to work. And what's even worse is that most people, my audience, were laughing. I was like, yeah, comedy in movies are going to die eventually, and everyone's just going to want to watch Boss Baby 5 and Baywatch 7. What did you guys think of Baywatch, or have you even heard of it? Hopefully you have never heard of it, and you will never watch it. Comment in the place on my face, and let me know. Speaking of Baywatch and Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales, we're going to check the box office results for the weekend. I have actually not checked these. It's the first time checking them. It's going to be fresh and new to me. So what got in the top 5? And this is Friday through Sunday. I know this is Memorial Day weekend, but I'm giving you the Friday through Sunday numbers like usual and not really count Monday. Number 5 is... Oh, shit, what is that? Oh, okay. Sorry. I was looking at something else. Number 5 is Everything, Everything, which is it made $6.1 million, and it's up to $21 million on a budget of $10 million. That's actually really good. And full disclosure, I saw this movie last weekend. Saw it with my girlfriend. It's whatever. I'd give it like a C as well. It's a very blah, average, bland teen romance film. It's whatever. And there was one thing in the movie that really kind of fucking pissed me off. I was like, oh, what a shitty character. But yeah, it's whatever. I really don't care. I'll give it a C- because of that one character. I dip it down because of them. But I can't give it into the D category because, it's an average romance at best. But yeah, it's actually not, the worst thing I've ever seen. But $6.1 million for it for the weekend. 21 haul, $10 million budget. And to double the budget, studios have to, take in mind that theaters got to take their cut. They got to add on marketing and stuff. So I'm going to say about $30 million, probably for them to break even. And this thing's going to kill on streaming, so Warner Bros. Will be fine. Number 4 is Alien Covenant with another $10.5 million. It dropped 70% from last weekend. That is not good, even though I really liked Alien Covenant. Oh, that's another thing. Since I wasn't on last week's episode, I give Alien Covenant a B+. Excuse me. That's really gross. I really enjoyed it quite a bit, and I think it's a really great addition to the franchise. And I love Prometheus and everything about this kind of franchise and how they're kind of integrating horror and aliens with philosophy and existence. So I really enjoyed it. If you want to know my full in-depth thoughts, please go to my YouTube channel to check out the full review of that. So right now, domestically, it's at $57 million. Worldwide, it's at $158 on a budget of $97 million. So you're looking at, $194 million plus marketing and advertising. So let's say $210 just for shits and gigs. It's getting close, but it's not going to make, a whole lot of money back if it even gets profit. So it's kind of sad because I actually really enjoyed it. I don't think Ridley Scott is going to be making 2 more. He might just make 1 more to finish out his trilogy, but Alien Covenant nonetheless. That is your number. Number 3 is one of the new ones, Baywatch with $18 million. It's way too high, but whatever. I don't know. Apparently critics don't have taste. It was made for the fans, not for the critics. Sure. So domestically 22, worldwide it's got 23. It made like $873,000 overseas. Its production budget is $69 million. Oh, Jesus. What is that, 138? So add on the PA marketing, because they marketed the fuck out of this. I'm going to say 150, flat 150 to break even. The fact that and this is not the Monday numbers as well, it might bump up a little bit for Memorial Day weekend, but as far as like Friday through Sunday on this type of budget, and the fact that Dwayne Johnson's in it, just shows you that yeah, raunchy comedies do not work with most people for him. And when you actually see the movie, you realize that he is terrible at raunchy comedies and he's good at everything else. So, fuck you, Baywatch. Number 2, it's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with $19.8 million, just trucking along. Excuse me, only dropped 42%. Its budget is $200 million, so double that. PA marketing, $450, $475 to break even. Right now, it's doing very well. Domestically at $333 and worldwide at $783. That's around the same amount that the first one kind of capped out with, but this one's definitely going to make a little bit more because this is going to continue to make money for sure, because this is definitely the better Disney film in theaters right now. Even though when you watch Baywatch first, then you watch Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales, it's almost like The Godfather compared to it. So, all right, and number 1, of course, Pirates 5 with $62 million opening weekend. Holy shit. Let's see. $230 million for its budget. Good God. You got to double that to $460, and its paid and marketing is probably $100 million. So, I'm going to say about $550, rough estimate. It made 62 domestically, but it's a killer overseas, and it made 270 worldwide. So, it's going to make at least a couple $100 million. Wonder Woman's coming out next week, folks. It's going to get buried. So, all right, that is that for the numbers. It's kind of depressing because I didn't really care for either movie this weekend. But yeah, so what about you guys? What did you watch this weekend? Please let me know down below. Next weekend, guys, that is it for this episode. For episode 184, but episode 185. Joel and I will be both be back next weekend, and we will talk about Wonder Woman and, of course, some movie news and trailers and stuff. So another comic book movie, DC property. I'm excited to kind of see where they go with it, whatnot, because I like 2 of the 3 they've done so far, like Man of Steel, BVS The Ultimate Cut, and Suicide Squad can go suck a big old goat dick. So that will be interesting next week. Wonder Woman, that is episode 185. And if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Real Chase Lee, and YouTube page is Real Chase Lee. All that down below in the descriptions. You can also follow Joel on his website. You can follow him on Twitter and stuff. All that stuff will be in the links in the description below. Go follow him, and he's a really great writer, and he writes all his reviews as well as coming on to this podcast and talking about with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And hey, listen, if you made it through this entire podcast and you're not a movie fan, well, hopefully I convinced you to be one. Join Joel and I next week for episode 185 for Wonder Woman to cap out this episode. You guys are fucking awesome. You guys are the best. Please continue to spread this podcast around. Let people know it's okay. It's fine. You can take a dump and listen to it. It's all good. But yeah, please spread this around, guys, and let people know that this is your favorite movie podcast to listen to. It really helps us out. But you guys are always the best. You guys kick a lot of ass. So we'll see you guys next week for another episode. And the intro and outro music is done by my friend's band, Fervent Roze. Check them out. Also in the description. Speaking of them, play us out, Johnny. Is that a phrase? I don't know. Okay.